I just finished watching a video by a YouTuber. Her name is Ryan Barnes, and she's actually a individual that I guess she transitioned from a woman to a man and then back to a woman. And she had a very interesting perspective, right? Because I know the big discussion that's been had over the last last few decades, I would even venture to say, is who has it easier, men or women? Actually, this has been a conversation for at least a century, I feel like. But I always tell people when I have a conversation like this, it's all a matter of perspective, and B, for me personally, I feel like the grass is not greener on either side. Now, however people choose to live their lives is however people choose to live their life. But here's a few things I'll say. First off, I know I'm opening up a can of worms. This video isn't meant to offend anybody. I'm just going to leave that out there right now. But I wanted to open up and talk about this kind of subject because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about stuff like this. And I was just like, this is interesting. Like, let's kind of lay out as many things as we can, as we possibly can put side by side and compare the two. And you guys can feel free to let me know what you guys' experiences are in the comments down below. Now, let's start off with, I guess, the advantages and disadvantages of men from, my perspective as a guy. So as you guys know, I'm a dude. I've been a guy for my entire life. And I do notice a few things, right? Like, I mean, obviously I've dated a lot and I've gone through a lot of different experiences. And what I can say is, first and foremost, when it comes to just living, right? The one thing I notice is, and Ryan Barnes talked about it in her video, like you can just wake up. You don't have to worry about putting on makeup. You can just go outside and enjoy your day. You just go outside, whatever. There's not a pressure to look good. There's no pressure at all to look good because guys don't care, women have like these skincare routines and face masks and Not saying that men don't do that, but men definitely don't do it as much, like at all. Like virtually, like there's a small percentage of men that do it in comparison to the men that actually just get up and go out and whatever, And I found that pretty interesting. Another thing too is, I guess, like there's obviously like a bro code and between guys and stuff like that. Like guys talk about guy stuff, which is it can be like video games, sports, basketball, whatever, like, which is also a sport. Just things of that nature, man. And it's pretty lighthearted and whatever. But and that's pretty cool. Obviously there's and I guess this could be a pro and a con, but I think it's a pro. We're pretty much called upon to do a lot of like the heavy lifting and stuff like that. If there's anything like physically demanding, guys are expected to take care of it. Like we're expected to do stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting. Now she covers this in her video and stuff like that. I'm going to link her video down in the description down below if you guys want to watch it. I know like this is a completely random video that I normally don't even make because my channel, most of the content is centered around international stuff, but we can tie this in to a global perspective because I've noticed some things worldwide and even here that I'm just like, I'm noticing some differences, right? And this is going to go into the cons of being a guy, right? Because I mean, there's far more pros than that. Let's go like, another pro, right? Jobs or whatever. I guess like a lot of people, talk about, men get paid more than women or men get taken more seriously in a job than a woman does. I do feel like I get taken a lot more seriously. Every job I've ever worked, I haven't felt disrespected at all, like literally at all. And maybe it's just because maybe it's how I carry myself. Maybe it's because I don't know. I don't think it's solely due to the fact I'm a guy, but I know as a guy, I've never felt disrespected working anywhere. I actually felt like my opinion was valued even when I didn't know what I was talking about at all. And that happens a lot. So it's actually quite interesting. Very, very interesting. Like if I made a call or if I gave a suggestion, it would actually be heard and, people would go like, oh, okay, cool. That's a good idea. Or let's try this out. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. And I would see like, a few women do the same thing and they wouldn't be taken quite as seriously. Not to say that no one takes women seriously, but I've seen it, and that's a big talking point and a big argument that a lot of people make when they compare men to women to men. But the thing is, here are the cons of being a guy that no one talks about. And Ryan Barnes touched on it. And I was just like, this is interesting. I have to make a video on this. She said that when she transitioned to a guy, right, she realized firsthand that guys are held to a different standard as far as like having your shit together. So basically, we are expected to have a stable job, good credit score, a house, a car, a good amount of money. That's just something you need to have. Like, that's not even a question. It's not only an expectation from women, but it's an expectation from men too. Men look at you and it's like, there's zero sympathy if you don't have your shit together. Like, you need to have your shit together. Once you turn 18, and even before that, there is a pressure to have your stuff together. What are you going to school for? What's your occupation going to be? How many jobs are you going to work? There is that. That's an expectancy. Like that is expected of you. Now, on the flip side, I've seen, at least from my perspective, I can't speak for everybody else, but I feel like women don't have that same pressure to have their stuff together, because I feel like people, and like Ryan Barnes talks about it in her video from her perspective, but it's like, women they have the option to work really hard and soar through the limits, right? Obviously there might be some caveats to what they can and can't do in some retrospect, but for the most part they can choose to work as hard as they want, go crazy, get like 5, 10, 15 jobs. But the thing is, the difference between men and women is if they decide not to work, there's not as much backlash and pressure on them as there is on men. And that's what I've experienced. I've known a bunch of women that have literally just not worked, and every guy that knew them was cool with it. It was, oh yeah, cool, like, yeah, awesome. Cool, good for them. But those same guys that I knew a bunch of other people that were in same situation, in similar situations, but they were also men. So for instance, let's say you have a woman that's living with her parents that doesn't work. Just goes to school, comes home, whatever. And that's a cultural thing too, but I feel like universally women are able to do that. But when a man does the same thing, it's looked upon as weak. It's looked at as mooching, like you're not providing anything. And it's not to say that women aren't looked at as the same way, I guess, by a few people, but it's more acceptable. It's far more acceptable, because I feel like people generally understand that women are more emotional than men are. Men are emotional as well, and actually that's another. We're gonna segue that into the next point of our conversation, which is emotions, right? Men are also emotional, but the thing is, the image that is portrayed by men, if you look at any movie, if you look at any public figure, is that we're macho, and we can't get angry, we can't get sad, we can't have an express emotional reaction to anything. Otherwise, we're looked at once again as weak and insecure. And women play on this as well. They're like, hey, like, oh, that guy is too sensitive, like a guy could open up about some crazy stuff that's happened and whatever, or maybe like he has a reaction to something, a traumatic event or something, like, maybe he's happy and decides to cry or whatever. And then, got people from both sides bash him, men and women. And I've seen that before, and then it forces, and from my perspective, it kind of forces us as men to like lock up and kind of like, bury those emotions deep down inside, which is not good, because it can affect your mental health negatively. On the other side, women can freely express themselves. I've seen this in a lot of like other people's relationships. Women can hit men, women can spit, women can scream, cry, kick, whatever, and everybody's like, oh, that's normal, she's a woman. I mean, they just do that. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, you could have the same, I'll put it this way. Let's say, a 2-year-old throws temper tantrums, right? Kicks, screams, throws stuff, calls people names, all this kind of craziness. A guy could do the same thing. The dude is a piece of shit. He's horrible, and he does not have his stuff together. A woman does it. It's like, wow, she's really expressing herself. She's in her feelings, and she's getting it all out. That's exactly what society has dictated. Society has dictated it, and it's very interesting. Now, like I said, the grass is not greener on either side. There's pros to being a woman, there's pros to being a man. Another con of being a guy, the dating scene. Now, you can say this is a con or this is a pro. I'll put it this way. If you're on a dating app, right? Like, I know everybody loves to use Tinder, a guy, right? You'll swipe right on, a bunch of people you think are cute, and you won't get any matches for like, months, years, decades. A woman makes a Tinder account, swipes twice, and gets 2 matches. There's like a 98% match rate with women. There's like a 2% match rate with guys. Guys swipe and like they barely get anything. And yes, even the most attractive men, right? Even the most attractive men will never come close to the most attractive woman when it comes to dating. There's just a difference of standards that are presented when it comes to that. Ryan Barnes also covers this in her video from her own perspective. She doesn't speak for everybody, but at least from her own perspective. Like she dated as a guy, and then she also dated as herself, as a woman. And I thought it was very interesting to bring that up. I'm just like, what? This is crazy. And I thought it would be like something interesting to talk about, because I know a lot of people go through stuff like that. I know a lot of people that talk about transitioning because their life as the gender that they currently are is hard, and they want to transition to another gender because they feel like it'll be easier. And the only reason why I'm making this video is because I want to let people know life is not easy in general. It's not. And when you transition over to the other side, it's almost like playing Mortal Kombat. I know people are about to, this is where I'm going to get my backlash, but I don't care. It's like playing Mortal Kombat, right? You could pick, every character is different. Every character is different. They have different abilities, different skill sets, da-da-da. The thing is, every character has strengths and weaknesses, right? When I feel like when people that go through transitions transition for the purpose of making their life easier because maybe they were treated a certain way as that specific gender, I feel like they expect when they transition life to be 100% easier. And for some people, that is the case. But a lot of the times it's not. They do get all the perks that they were expecting, but there's a lot of backlash they don't get, that they weren't expecting, if you know what I mean. So imagine being, a woman and being used to being able to freely express yourself, and whenever you're furious or frustrated, you cry in public and just you let it all out. You let it all out. But then when you transition into a man, and then you try to do the same thing, every guy stays like, 10 miles away from you and talks mad shit about you. You're sensitive. People are sending you all kinds of like hate messages and stuff like that. No one wants to associate with you. No one wants to help you. And it's pretty bad, like it's like I said, the grass isn't greener on either side. Like I said, there are pros, there are cons. I know a big talking point that a lot of women use is that men can sleep with whoever they want and they get rewarded. They can sleep with like 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 20 billion different women, right? There's not that many women on the planet, I know that. But I'm just saying, you can sleep with as many women as you want, and you'll be like, wow, bro, get those numbers up, bro. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then a woman sleeps with 2 guys, and all of a sudden she thotting. That's something I never understood. I'm like, bro, why can't women just live their lives? They can do whatever they want. My thing is, why are people so caught up with who's sleeping with who? That's been my question since I was 8 years old. I'm like, why does it matter that your favorite celebrity is sleeping with the same gender or the opposite gender? That doesn't take away or add to their acting abilities, to their singing abilities, to what they can provide for the public. Like, what? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I figured I would talk about something like this. I want to get into more deep topics and stuff, and have an open discussion about it. I don't want there to be any hate when we talk about it. But if you guys have like your own thoughts and feelings, let me know in the comments down below. But these are things I noticed and stuff like that, right? In the case of like, I guess it's just different. There's so many different things, right? Like I said, I would watch the video linked in the description down below. I know like some people, this is not even like your kind of like content or whatever, but it's an interesting thing to really look at, because I feel like men know the struggles that we know, like the struggles that we have to go through on a day-to-day basis, and the portrayal of, oh wow, men are powerful, they can do whatever they want, da 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 da. Not really. And then the other side of the coin, men are like, wow, women have it so easy, all they have to do is open up an OnlyFans and now they're millionaires. But that's not really the case either. one interesting thing that I noticed too when I watched Ryan Barnes's video, she said that she noticed that women were more harsh on themselves than men were to women based on like her own experiences. And I noticed that myself as well. Every person I've ever dated has always like been very harsh to other women to other women. And I'm like, what? Like if like, you know, I had a few exes. Whenever we'd go out, they would point out people across the street like, oh my God, what is she wearing? Like, does she know that she's being seen in public? Like, does she not care? And I'm like, why does that matter? Like, and for me, I'm like, I'll walk out of the house with anything. I'll walk out of the house in booty shorts and a long t-shirt and some knee socks and like some boots. And I don't care. And like a bucket hat. I don't care, bro. I'll pick up the first thing I see in my closet and I'll just walk outside. It doesn't bother me. I'm comfortable with whatever I'm wearing. People can talk about me, people can laugh, people can cry. It doesn't bother me. But I don't know, I just noticed that and I'm like, dang. But like I said, men are also harsh on themselves too. Like they're harsh on each other. We're harsh on each other. Like and the last point I wanted to talk about that I kind of briefly touched on before was just I guess like the expectancy of providing, right? I feel like when you boil everything down to it, right, men are expected to provide, and I saw a comment in the comment section in her video and in Ryan Barnes's video, and it made a lot of sense. Men are valued for their utility, like their ability to provide something to the situation, and women are valued for their sexuality. If you notice, most of the things associated with women are around looks. Like, how do you look? How are you presenting yourself? Are you in shape? Notice like a fat guy can get away with a lot more than a fat woman. Like that's a thing. That's really a thing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, why do you think the whole fat shaming, community thing came out? It's like, yo, like, stop fat shaming us, because especially as women, like, women are held to like a higher like physical standard, and by society, and men aren't, and it sucks. But at the same time, men are held to a higher standard for just providing. And I understand, like, well, there could be single moms out there and stuff like that that use, where is this? Like, I'm providing for everybody, da 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 da. And that's a bit different, and going into that, right? I feel like there is a general, I guess, consensus that I guess like women generally do take care, and like even children gravitate more to women than men in general. It's like, and that's a thing, and it sucks, but it's a thing. But I don't know. I just thought this was very interesting. I watched the video and I was just like, wow. YouTube randomly recommended this video to me, and I'm like, I'll watch it. I'll see what she has to say. And it was very interesting. So this video was way longer than I anticipated. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I just thought it was a very interesting topic. Who has it easier, men or women? And it's just a very interesting conversation, because a lot of people will be very quick to say men have it easier, but I've seen men that were broken down emotionally, and they felt like they had literally no one to talk to at all. And it was so sad, because they said every person they tried to talk to, that was a guy, of course, like completely bashed them. They tried to open up to women, and the women that they opened up to used it against them. And you just feel battered on both sides. Women can open up and boom, like it's peace, love, and penguins, Now, I know that's not the case all the time, but generally speaking, if we're making generalizations here, that's what it is, and it sucks. So I'm just here to say, whatever your situation is, it can always get better and it can always get worse. Just, I would say, make the best of of the cards that you're given, right? If you're given a deck of cards and you want to completely change those deck of cards, and you want to get a new hand, sometimes you don't get a new hand, and you have to make the best of what you have, because I feel like just the idea of living and experiencing life is more important than making life fit your every desire, because life is hard, and 2020 has proven that to everybody. 2020 has proven that it doesn't give a shit about what you think, what you feel, what you say, what you want, what you need. It's gonna beat you down like you stole something from it. And it's crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Should I talk about more things like this, more serious topics on this channel? I hope I didn't really trigger anybody or poke any or hurt anybody's feelings or whatever. I know I never say that because I mean, I don't. If I did, just know that it wasn't intentional. I just wanted to have an adult conversation about, about this topic. It's been talked about for so long, and I've had so much to say on it. I probably didn't even get out all my ideas, thoughts, and feelings on this matter, but I think it's an important discussion to have, especially in today's day and age. It's crazy, but let me know what are the pros and cons of men and women. Like, do either of them have it easier? Do either of them have it worse? Or do you think it's 50-50? In my personal opinion and conclusion for this video, I think it's an even 50-50 split. No one has it harder than the other. They both have it hard. Men and women both have it very hard. In different areas, you can't compare apples to oranges. You can't say, well, you can't compare finances with emotions. They're both important. They're both important. And it's like a fucked up puzzle piece, right? There's certain pieces that fit better in one side of the equation. There's other pieces that fit better in another side of the equation. But when you add them all up, the same amount of pieces on both sides fit. They just fit differently. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm going to probably be uploading like 4 or 5 more videos today. So peace.